people are facing problems for the last around 1 decade at least. So the reason again is lack of focus and multitasking again.
Right.
And the problems are manifold, not only on the part of builder or not only on the part of the buyer. Both are equally responsible for this.
Correct.
Now, coming to focusing, the builder launched multiple products.
Hello everyone, I'm Jitendra Singh. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Mr. Pramod Kumar Sachdeva. He is an ex-banker from Punjab and Sindh Bank, a PSU bank. Currently he is practicing advocate for more than 8 years now. Before entering to the legal profession, he worked in the banking and finance sector for more than 33 years, out of which 28 years were with PSB. And he has worked in different branches and different controlling offices. His experience and exposure is in the field of banking and finance sector has given him an added advantage in the legal field as well and other areas. So during the last more than 7 years in corporate and commercial litigation, arbitration as well as advisory, during his tenure in the legal field, he has handled various matters in the field of corporate and commercial litigation, international and domestic arbitration, civil and criminal laws as well as consumer act, the solvency code, real estate, etc. He appears regularly before court and tribunals, including Supreme Court of India, High Court of Delhi, NCDRC, NCLAT, NCLT, CESAT, Provident Fund Appellate Tribunal, and DRT, DRAT, as well as various district courts in Delhi and NCR area. He is empaneled with SBI, PSB, and few other corporates as well. So he is a permanent member of Supreme Court Bar Association, a life member of Indian Council of Arbitration, and a member of PSG Chamber of Commerce Membership Development Committee. Today, he will be discussing with us about his life journey. So let us hear from him. Welcome, Pramod sir. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Myself, Pramod Sachdeva, as Mr. Jitendra Dahiya has introduced me. I have been ex-banker for 28 years in a bank, and after that, I started freelancing. And after the gap of 5 years, after that, I started practicing as an advocate in 2013. And for the last now more than 9 years, I'm into litigation. And general question people ask me, how as a banker you are into advocacy or legal field.
Correct.
But Mr. Dahiya has also raised the same question. It is really surprising after in 30 years in banking, you are into law. But I would like to say that banking and law are integral part of each other. As a banker, you cannot survive if you do not have good knowledge of law as well.
Right.
If you are giving a loan to a corporate sector and you do not know whatever has been mortgaged by the company, it is to be registered with ROC as well, and you miss that registration with ROC, your lien is good for nothing. It will become very difficult to enforce that.
Correct.
I think now you can start with your questions.
Sure, sir. So let us begin. First thing I'd like to know from you is like when you were growing and when you were like studying. So from there, I would like to know like how did your past life has affected the person who you are and what you wanted to be in your life.
Basically, whatever activity you are doing in your life, it can be any phase of your life. It has the effect. It can be long term, it can be short term. When I was a child, in those days, TV was also a luxury.
Yes.
In my small town, I was having one TV at my home, and the entire mohalla of the street used to come to my residence on Sunday evening for watching movie, or once in a week Chitrahar as well. And TV was a luxury at that time. Mobile was a distant thing. So in those days, books were the best friend of children, or playing games in the park or in the street wherever you are living. So my grandfather was a doctor, and he was a renowned homeopathy doctor, and he has written many books as well. And he was the first person to translate this Ramayana and Gita in Urdu.
Okay.
Urdu was also a language. So he was having very vast collection of books. So I used to read those books with him, taking the books from him and reading it. And I have, in my childhood, I have read all these Mahabharata, Gita and Ramayana, all others, Upanishads as well. That has a great effect on my career, on my thinking. And I have been a balanced thinker, never running after the money or a single thing. That is the major effect of those books which has changed my life, or rather instead of changing, established my principles in my life, because at that time I was just nurturing my life, not changing. There was no question of changing. It's all about that. These books have been, and I have been very fond of this Indian culture. And I believe that Indian culture is one of the best culture in the world. All other countries are following our culture and they are moving towards us. That is the effect of it.
Right. So when you you were having any thoughts related to like going to banking and law when you were growing?
Banking, basically, when I did my graduation in 1978, and at that time, banking was taken as a very good career, and that's why I joined the banking in 1980. I joined the Punjab and Sindh Bank.
Great.
Bank, and that too as a government bank, was a very number one choice for the people moving
True.
into career line, and it was a second choice after IAS or IPS, etc. And somehow the salary level were very good, very high salary was being paid at that time, which central government or state government or other departments.
Right.
Today, IT sector is there, but in those days, IT was not there. That's why I joined banking, and I continued there for 28 years. Today, job
Wonderful.
is a normal thing. In those days, people used to join a company or a corporation or a government job and retire with that only.
Yes.
I joined the banking.
Great.
And now coming to law, as I discussed earlier as well, banking and law are the integral part of each other.
Yes.
So it was during my service I did my law. After that I wanted to start the legal practice. I was of the opinion that at 60 your energy level is reduced and you will not be able to start a new venture. That's why I resigned from the bank, started practicing in 2014 as an advocate. Naturally, by choice, I am taking care of this corporate and commercial litigations
Right.
that is related to finance and everything. And
Great.
all other civil and commercial, as I discussed, arbitration are all moving around this, all commercial litigation only, commercial field activity.
Great, sir. So, if I talk about things you are passionate about in your life at this age, so what are the things that create passion in you?
My passion is always like that. As I discussed earlier, I am very fond of Indian culture and
Yes.
Indian history. It's a great history, and we have a great culture as well. It is like that. When the Western people were just starting their education system, formal education system, we had the universities like Takshila and Nalanda at that time.
Correct.
And if you take even the share of Indian economy into world GDP, it was more than one third for first 1000 year of this new era, 180 to 1000 AD. Even 1700, 1800 tak we were having more than 25-30% share in the world GDP. But because of some reasons well known to everybody, our decline started and we remain as a slave for around 1000 years in the history.
Correct.
Like that. And today I feel we should educate our young generation about Indian culture, Indian society, what are the social values, our value has been there, what are our value system or religious system. It should be made integral part of the education system also. You also might have learned or must have some hearsay as well. Yeah, there are confirmed talks. Gita and all Sanskrit etc. is being taught as a part of syllabus in some of the world-renowned universities. And in some countries, Sanskrit is being taught also, like
Right.
Germany or Switzerland, or like they are teaching Sanskrit as well. But in our system has been like that. Today, if I speak Hindi, so I am discarded as a second grade citizen.
Correct.
What to talk of Sanskrit? That problem is mainly in northern India.
Right.
Also, Hindi is our mother tongue, and English is also not that good. You will find many mistakes in general discussions or even in newspapers or like that. Still, we do not prefer to read Hindi, or we don't prefer to speak in Hindi as well. And whereas if you go to any southern part, I have been in Bombay as well for around 4 years, where there a class 1 officer also feel pride if he is reading Marathi paper.
Correct.
And in friendly discussions while standing at a coffee shop or anywhere else. In Delhi, we prefer to discuss in English and we feel proud in that.
Correct.
There they discuss in Marathi. हमें हिंदी में बात करने में शर्म आ जाती है यार, हिंदी बोल रहा है क्यों? कभी ये भी दिन था कि अगर आप रेलवे इंक्वायरी पे भी जा रहे हैं और आपने अंग्रेजी में पूछा तो ही विल अटेंड यू फर्स्ट, लीविंग असाइड द अदर हिंदी स्पीकिंग पीपल. This is also there.
Right.
And in bank also, if a person is coming to you and on your counter and he's speaking in English, so you clerk or officer sitting at the counter is giving more importance to that person than a
Correct.
Hindi.
Agree with that.
So I agree. I feel that should change, and we should enlighten our youngster generation regarding our Hindi culture, Indian culture, as well as religion as well, so that they
Right.
can change the value system. That is my
That's
passion.
really a wonderful thought because I also believe that जब तक हमारी जड़ें मजबूत नहीं होगी तब तक हमारा पेड़ कैसे मजबूत होगा. सबसे
हाँ.
पहले तो जड़ों पे काम करने की जरूरत है.
One more thing I would बात चली है तो I think there are very few countries in the world which are not working in their mother tongue. You take the case of
Yes.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They all are their official languages Urdu, Bangla, or Singli. In our case, Hindi is not our official language, although it is declared as an official language. But wherever you go into any department, any office, or in any court in Delhi, you will find that English is preferred language.
Correct. Every documentation you find would be in English.
And even if you file some Hindi document in the court, so you have to give the English translation as well along with that. Hindi documents
Correct.
are taken and record without translation.
This is really a funny part.
Yeah, funny as well as shocking as well.
Correct.
In India, in our entire world, there are 2 or 3 countries which are not working in their mother tongue. One is our country, India,
Right.
and the second I think is very small country in Africa. I don't remember the name, Namibia or like that. They are also have English as their official language.
Okay, so this is really important for us to understand like where we are moving ahead. So वो एक issue है. चलिए sir, we move on to the next one. So if I talk about your work and experiences, like how it goes, what all you did in your career, and now what all is your expertise and what you are doing these days.
In banking, I have traveled as you know, you are also a banker, but you are from private banking field, and in our government banks, you have to be transferred to some other area after 3, 4, 5 years.
Correct.
You cannot remain at a particular station for more than 5 years. Yeah. And during my service career, I have been to Bombay, Haryana, UP, Delhi as well, and I have worked in almost all the field, like lending as well, branch banking, and zonal office, head office. So I have the exposure in admin and financing, lending, etc., and branch banking, customer handling, sale, and recently for the last around more than 10 years, like that, indicate cross-selling of financial products as well, like mutual fund, insurance. Now the bankers are selling all these things. So I have
Yes.
exposure to that as well. And while I was at zonal office, I used to go to branches for dissemination of information. Whatever guidelines or circulars are being issued by the policy guidelines, or they are issued by the head office or the zonal office, they should be taught to the branch level field functionaries so that they may not misadventure anywhere. In 28 years of service, I have worked in every floor of the banking. In nationalized banks, it is not like that. Specialization is lacking basically. You will not find the officer who is just sitting at advances and giving the loans and loans. Even recovery is also to be done by the branch manager in nationalized bank. And in private, you may find lending is being done by someone else and recovery is being done by somebody else. The person who is recovering the loan, he has no exposure in lending the.
Correct.
That is the difference between banking in private sector as well as government sector. So you are here made the jack of all at least.
Correct.
Although we are having law and recovery department separately as well, but as a branch manager, you have to be jack of all.
Primary level of activities are done by branch level.
Yeah.
Right. So how is your experience now as compared to banking previously?
Now I am into advocacy and litigation, as I told you earlier as well.
Yes.
I am handling the commercial matters as well. DRT, you can say, that recovery tribunal where the banks are filing their recovery suits. And commercial litigation means every dispute between the companies or individuals relating to commercial financial transactions. We are handling it, and along with that, we are handling this individual cases as well. Because if a director of a company is having personal problem, and I am handling the case of that company, so I cannot tell him ki you go to some other advocate for your personal problem like that.
Yes.
Or 138 cases are also part of the commercial transactions. Although they are taken as a criminal field, but they are not exactly criminal.
Correct.
We are handling those cases as well. And recently, you will find that almost everybody, every family, in addition to having a house of his own, investing in real estate as well. And real estate has come up as a good investment avenue for our masses, and everybody who is having surplus money wants that I should buy an extra house, another second house. These matters are also coming up, and people are facing problems. We are handling those problems as well.
Correct, right. So, sir, if I talk about your vision, mission, and goal for next 5 to 10 years from now, so what do you think that should be?
My vision is again, we should try to reduce the litigation. You might be aware of the things कि crores of cases are pending in Indian courts and even lakhs in High Court and Supreme Court. You will find so that litigation should be reduced, and government is also coming up with various schemes like mediation, conciliation, and arbitration. All these are alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, and with these additional mechanisms, they are trying to reduce the litigation pendency in court system as well.
Right.
And one more I'm curious about this. My vision or mission is you will find in criminal cases at least all over world you will find the figures are like that. More than 25%, 30% people lying in jails all over world I am talking about
Okay.
are under trial. That means
Right.
the crime has not been established. They have not been convicted till they are lying in jail because of this
And
reason.
25-30% is really a huge number.
But in our country, you will find this figure alarming. You will find कि few days ago there was some discussion at a very high level as well. More than 70% people are on trial in our Indian jails.
And India, like 70% is really
70,
big number.
very big number. You will find the people, bail has been granted to them, but they don't have any surety to give. They do not have any surety to offer to the legal machinery so that they may be out of jail after getting the bail. And they are in jails for years together. That is a big issue, and my vision is that I should be able to contribute towards that.
Right.
I am nowadays working in that direction as well. इस तरफ भी कुछ किया जाए.
Correct. And this is really alarming one because 70% of the total cases, if people are behind bars without like proving guilty.
I am not talking about total cases. 70% of the criminals in jails are under trial.
The trial, right?
They have not been convicted. Their crime has not been established in court. Still,
Correct.
they are lying in jail because of this reason or that reason.
Correct.
That is
This
it.
is really a big number and very big issue also.
And you put a person behind the bar and he remains there for years, and then after 10 years or 20 years, when he has lost all his youth and energy in jails, you say now you are free.
Correct.
Your crime is not established and now you are free. What about those 10, 20 years he has spent in jail?
Correct.
That
His
is also-
entire life is ruined.
And that too he has to live into the society with a stigma. जेल में रह के आया है.
हाँ करेक्ट. तो सर अगर मैं बात करूं कि ये सारी चीजें जो हम लोग देखते हैं मतलब इसके बाद भी लाइफ जो है वो खत्म ही है. एंड वी हैव सीन सो मेनी केसेस इन पास्ट दैट पीपल कमिंग आफ्टर फ्रॉम द जेल एंड दे लाइक द डिसीजन वाज इन फेवर दैट दे आर नॉट गिल्टी बट स्टिल दे आर सफरिंग इन देयर लाइफ. So that is really a big challenge for those people. And after spending 10-20 years of their like life, crucial years of their life, and once they are after like they are released, so what is happening to their life? That is my curiosity. Like, is government supporting them in any which ways?
Unfortunately, there is no such mechanism of granting any compensation or relief to them. But they are just giving vocational trainings in jails, which can be helpful to him in the marketplace to start a new venture. But the stigma of being in jail for years is never removed from his face.
Correct.
And the society is always taunting कि तो jail में रह गया है. And it is not that easy to restart again after wasting 10 or 20 or whatever number is there, wasting in jail, and then to start afresh. Not
वो acceptability भी नहीं है ना सर मार्केट में.
Yeah, definitely the stigma is never removed, no?
Correct.
Now you are free.
So, sir, we are moving on to the next one. If I talk about the most important life lessons you have learned from your banking career, or maybe what you are doing now, or from your personal life, what are those 2-3 things which you have learned?
Yeah, coming to life out of the profession, life outside the profession, I feel कि younger generation should mainly should have focus on one particular thing, focus on their goal. Although
Right.
the multitasking has become a part of the life, and you are expected to do multitasking. I personally feel that when you are doing multitasking at a single time, you are not able to do justice to all those works. You
Right.
should focus on one thing. Focus is most important, concentration is most important, and first you focus on that and do to achieve that goal. And whatever you are doing to achieve that goal, that should be in consistency.
Yes.
So it's not like that कि today you do this thing, tomorrow you do other things, day after again you are doing some other thing.
Correct.
Or today you have, even if you are focusing, you start a work to achieve your goal, and again after 2 or 3 days you stop doing that work and for after few weeks, then you again start doing that work. So you will not be able to achieve the goals. That means the focus should also be there, and consistency in performance should also be there. Whatever you're doing, you should do on a regular basis. Not like that कि भाई आज ये किया, कल ये किया, परसों वो किया, या आज किया तो 5 दिन 10 दिन फिर कुछ किया ही नहीं, तो उसके बाद फिर उठा के बैठ गए आप. And another thing is the communication. That can be verbal or written. Communication is also very important. कि whatever you are doing, you should be, or whatever is your goal, you should be able to communicate to the other people कि what you want to say. Your language, or written or verbal, you should have good language command. That is very important. I think these three are the very important. There are other also as well to achieve anything in life.
So you rightly pointed out, because whether you are in personal life or professional life, without these three things, it is difficult to have a right like attitude, or maybe right work goal, work ethics, or whatever you are doing. You cannot succeed in that.
Yeah, attitude is also very important. You rightly said you should be positive attitude, and you should not be judgmental as well.
Correct.
You should not be always judgmental. You cannot do, as a boss, you reprimand your subordinates. You cannot do anything. You are good for nothing. That is very bad remarks. It will be devastating for him. We should avoid to be judgmental against our subordinates, even in our children as well. We should not be judgmental कि ये बच्चा तो किसी काम का नहीं है, कुछ नहीं कर सकता है. That have a very long-lasting negative effect on their life and career.
Yes.
Positive thinking is a must. Positive attitude, positive thinking is a must.
Correct. That is the basic thing. If that is put in correctly, rest other things would be in place. Like
Yeah, they will fall in line. They will fall in line.
Correct. So, sir, you have talked about real estate while you were talking about yourself or what you are doing. So, I'd like to know more onto it. Like last few decades, we have seen tremendous growth in real estate sector, and there were so many projects were launched. But in recent decade, current decade, we say there were so many problems with the like execution. Many of the projects were not completed, and many of the people who invested, they were not able to get their property on time, or maybe most of them have not get their possession for many of the projects. So what is your view on this? Like how these problems were arise? Yeah, what were the reasons for these such issues?
These problems, we have seen that, as you rightly said, people are facing problems for the last around 1 decade at least. So the reason again is lack of focus and multitasking again.
Right.
And the problems are manifold, not only on the part of builder or not only on the part of the buyer. Both are equally responsible for this.
Correct.
Now, coming to focusing, the builder launched multiple projects. They start a project at, say, sector in Noida. They launch the project. Instead of completing that project, they launch another project in Gurgaon. That is going on. Then they launch another project in Chandigarh.
Right.
And diverting the money. The money they got from the buyers from Noida, they diverted that money to Chandigarh or the Gurgaon. So because of that, neither the project in Noida is completed, nor in Gurgaon, nor in Chandigarh.
Correct.
That is also a big problem. Now, and another problem on the part of the buyer is there. All the buyers started coming for investment. In our country, we prefer to invest mainly into real estate, and we do not want to invest in share market or like that.
Correct.
You will find in very developed economies or even underdeveloped economies as well, people are investing more into equities than into real estate.
Yes.
And when everybody is going towards that, so that market is not going to sustain. That is
right.
And on the part of the builder, another is the overexpansion. They are taking big leverage. Whatever they are having, they are not confining their development to that resources. वो है कि भाई चादर देख के ही पैर पसारने चाहिए, आपने सुना है जैसे.
Yes.
तो उन्होंने ये किया, उस कारण से भी बिल्डर्स काफी परेशान हुए. और अब पिछले कुछ टाइम से ये भी देखेंगे आप कि लास्ट 2 डिकेड्स में, एक डिकेड छोड़ दें अगर पहले से, उससे पहले वाली डिकेड में प्रॉपर्टी प्राइसेस हैव एस्केलेटेड ऑन अ वेरी हाई रेट. It's not sustainable. And if you remember the last recession, I think in 2008 or 10, all over world there was crisis in real estate market.
Yes.
Because the prices have escalated that high at such a high rate, they are not being sustained. And the government has also realized all these problems, and they have established a regulatory authority as well to control both of these, builder as well as the buyer also. On the buyer side, if the property is multiplying, then he says, I will go with the property.
Right.
Somehow, because of the market conditions, property is crashing or property has not grown to that level which he has expected, then he says, give me my money with interest. As a banker, you will also agree that if all the depositors come to a bank to encash their FDRs, no bank can give it.
Correct.
And everybody, every investor, every buyer says, give me my money back. From where the builder will bring that money? Because he has whatever he has collected from the buyers, he has invested in the real estate project, and how then he can give that money back to all the investors?
Correct. Not possible.
To regulate these things, the government of India, central government, state government as well, they brought the RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, and they are doing a good job in that field. They have controlled all these things. Say, for example, agreement to sell. Earlier, the agreement to sell used to be builder-buyer agreement, agreement to sell, whatever name you, apartment buyer agreement, whatever name you give that. Earlier, these agreements were one-sided. Builder were putting all the clauses which are in his favor and against the buyer into that agreement. And whenever the buyer says, yeah, it is really wrong, you have done me a wrong thing, it is not good, so he says, it is in the agreement. Say, for example, the delay in project, delay in giving the possession of the project.
Right.
If the delay is on the part of the buyer, then the builder says, I will charge interest at the rate of 24%, 21%, 18%, whatever it is. It's mentioned in the agreement. But if there is a delay on my part as a builder, then I will be giving you 10 rupees per square feet as a penalty only. In some cases, 1 or 2% only. It was totally one-sided. Various regulatory authority and courts have upheld that these one-sided agreements are not enforceable.
Right.
They should be discarded. And now RERA has brought in a model build-buyer agreement, which should have at least these clauses, and they should not be one-sided.
Right.
So, the ruling key, whatever rate of interest the builder is charging from the buyer for delay in payment, he should be ready to give that interest in case of delay in possession as well.
True.
These are good things. And earlier the buyer was having option of going to court on civil courts or consumer courts. Now, after the changes, the builder can go to, buyer can go to consumer forum, to RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, as well as NCLT as well.
Okay.
Then for the last 5-6 years, NCLT is also there, National Company Law Tribunal, Appellate Tribunal, like that. And in that, a group, after meeting certain criteria, the group of home buyers can go to NCLT for resolution of the problem in the project. That is for the beneficial interest of the home buyers. And now the builders are also becoming cautious. They are not behaving like in a zigzag manner like earlier. They just start the project and whenever it feels they will give the possession after delay of 5 years, 10 years or even more. That is a very good thing. Our viewers can go to any of these forms, Consumer Court, RERA or NCLT, for their grievances with the builders. And we are always there to help them. They need something.
Right, correct. That's great because the problem was both-handed. Like equally, the buyers were also responsible for the problem because instead of investing money for their property, like for home, they were moreover investing in multiple properties for the sake of investment, which was also creating problem for the actual users, actual buyers.
Yeah, they have to bear the brunt of the high prices.
Yes.
When I need only one house and I'm booking three, the demand is threefold. So rates will go to the old principle of demand and supply.
Correct.
And user will also have to pay more price.
Right. So, sir, if we talk about the guidelines which are laid by government and under the RERA Act, so to safeguard the interest of people, so what are the important ones, like which we need to keep in consideration while going to a buyer, like a real estate company for buying a new property?
Yeah. One of the important guidelines is that no builder can launch the project without getting the approved from the DTP, district town planner, or whatever authority is there in their respective states, whatever nomenclature is being used. So no builder can launch the project without their approval. And in addition to that, they have to get the registration from RERA as well.
Okay.
And in addition to that, and no builder can take more than 10% of the money without entering into builder-buyer agreement.
Okay.
And that builder-buyer agreement should also be in line with the model builder-buyer agreement which has been floated by respective state governments. Because RERA Act is separate thing, and based on that Act, every state has established Real Estate Regulatory Authority in their state.
Correct.
And they are framed the rules with slight changes, although this main thing remains in line with the Act. But they have made some slight changes depending upon the prevailing condition in their respective states.
Correct.
Slight changes are there. So no builder can prepare a one-sided agreement. He has to get the approval of the agreement, loan application form. Even the advertisements are also being placed before the regulatory authorities. You cannot place any advertisement, whatever say name. You cannot show कि भाई I will be giving you a Switzerland environment in the project.
Okay.
You cannot say
So
like that.
whatever is the underline should be mentioned in the agreement.
It should be mentioned in the agreement, and whatever advertisements you are giving, they should be in line with the whatever you are offering.
Core objective.
Whatever you are offering, if you are
Right.
offering a economy flat, affordable housing you are offering, say you are offering affordable flats and at economical price and costing.
Right.
But in advertisement you say we will be giving you world class environment, world class terrace lawns or like that.
Right.
That is misleading. You cannot give misleading advertisement in the newspaper now. That is a very good change. And when this buyer is going to any builder, he should ask for these documents. Where is your license? Where is your RERA approval? What is your timeline to give the project?
Right.
What are the specification you will be providing me? Not like he is saying I will do that, I will do this, I will make that, I will make the swimming pool at your terrace. Where are the provisions? And you are
Right.
not having a swimming pool in the entire colony. And you are promising that I will be giving you personal swimming pools. So that is very, buyer should question the builder how you will provide that. What
Right.
is the timeline of delivering of possession? Specification of material, what are you using? After all these, for the last around 1 decade, builders also become cautious and the buyers are also become cautious. They are questioning prior to entering into
Yes.
agreement. And if you find there is some one-sided clause in the agreement, you can lodge a complaint with the RERA authority or any other regulatory authority. This is one-sided agreement. You should not
True.
sign on dotted line.
So basically, first thing is like as a builder, you should be like abide by the rules of the state as well as the RERA authority.
Yes.
And the agreement should be fair. Whatever you are committing, that should be mentioned in the agreement. That is a thing which builder need to incorporate. And advertisement, you have also mentioned that advertisement should be in relation to the commitment, final commitment which you are offering. And as an buyer, we need to be cautious. What we are buying, what we are seeing is in the sync with the contract.
Yeah.
Great, sir. Thank you for sharing such an wonderful information. So moving back to you again, if I talk about you, are you an introvert or an extrovert while meeting people or facing audiences, large audiences? And what do you think plus or minus of the same would be?
Basically, the field of advocacy is like that. We cannot be introvert, totally introvert. You have to be
Yes.
extrovert. But you specifically spoke about this on large audience. I feel public speaking is covering that thing. Large audience, speaking in front of the large audience or speaking in front of the court, they are two different things. Large
Right.
audience may be a problem for an advocate as well. In some cases, not for all. Speaking in front of court is a second issue. The person who is speaking very good in the court, he may or may not be able to address the large audience.
Right.
As I discussed earlier, also communication when discussing with so that should be taught in schools as well. Public speaking should be made a part of curriculum.
Correct.
Now the modern school and public schools are doing that. They bring each and every child on the stage. That is very good.
They're giving opportunity to every child.
But that opportunity should not be only as a routine. Yes, it has to be given. These public speaking skills should be nurtured in every person. Presentation is also very important.
Right.
Whatever project you are handling in your company, you should be able to present how you will be handling, what will be the shortcomings, what will be the final outcome to your team, as well as the team can be from your subordinate staff who is executing the project under you, or your bosses even,
Yes.
or your investors even, from where you are sourcing the funds. As a startup, if you are coming to startup, you should be able to express in front of your audience in presentation skills. That is very important. And if you are lacking those skills, so it gives a lot of negative impact on your personal development or financial development. Everything.
Right. And you rightly pointed out that being a lawyer, speaking in front of the court, that is one aspect because that is your aspect related to your work, part and parcel of your work. So there people are like easily able to manage that because that is the way they are taught in classroom. But when it comes to public speaking, that is not taught anywhere in the school or college. So that is a skill built by a person on their own, which is the current scenario. And you rightly pointed out that school should still start to come up with that issue. They should teach every child how to be a public speaker because that is a skill which is really important these days.
One more thing, I feel somewhere I read it, podium should not be allowed on the stage because sometimes
Like it should be open mic session.
it should be open mic session. That is the a level of expertise should be there. People are covering their weaknesses behind the podium.
Yes.
Somewhere I read the podium should not be allowed while teaching the police. The podium should not be allowed.
Right. Wonderful, sir. This is really important. So, sir, if I talk about the support you got in your journey, who were the people supported you the most?
Actually, supported me more is like that ki man is a social animal, you could say. People used to say ki I am a self-made man. I don't feel that. You
Not
cannot
possible.
be a self-made. Even if we agree with you that you are a self-made man, then you are not a social man. It means that throughout your life, you could not get the support from anybody. That is very negative.
Correct.
One of my colleague was there. He was my branch manager, Mr. Amarjit Singh. He supported me very well. Wherever I wanted to learn the new thing in banking or even after retirement also, we are close friends. He is living nearby. He has been a good support, good moral booster to me. My circle has been like that. Ki wherever I need the help of anybody, my friend circle, so I never need to be look behind. I got the support whatever I asked for. And I'm really grateful to my friend circle and just for the support in my journey of my life.
That's great. Sir, if I talk about motivation and inspiration, how you get your motivation and inspiration from?
Motivation and inspiration, as I told you since beginning, I have been reading this Gita. I have
Books.
thoroughly books and storybooks as well. In our days, it was Panchtantra की कहानियाँ.
Yes.
by this चाणक्य नीति के अंदर भी आता है. So they have been my moral booster. In the beginning, you're saying that you doesn't seem to be more than 60 years of age. So that is my motivation. I keep myself busy and to remain healthy. My day begins at early in the morning at 4:30 or 5. I never take rest. My motivation is to remain busy as always. And I do not take rest during the day, 10:30 or so. I'm still active.
Great.
Remain there. Motivation
Wonderful,
is
sir.
to remain busy and law is also a big motivator. Here you are able to help the people who are in great trouble. So sometimes it so happens that you cannot get the proper legal advice as well.
Right.
If a person is a victim of any misdoing by anybody, that can be in official life, personal life, or business life, and you help him to get the justice, that is it, and he's happy. That his smile after getting the relief from the court is a big motivation for us as well.
Correct. And that is really a wonderful thing for that person.
Yeah,
Just
satisfaction.
coming out from that problem is really a great relief for them. So, sir, what is your take on success? How does it look like to you?
Success is basically a relative word. You cannot say that if you achieve certain millions of rupees, you are a successful man or like that. It's a relative term. But whenever you sit alone and think over your journey towards life, you should not be having the inner thinking or inner feeling that I have used people as a ladder, as a stair, and by impacting their growth, I have achieved my growth. It should not be there. Your conscience should be clear. You have not used the people as a ladder. When you look back, so you should not be feeling that I have achieved my success at the cost of my family life or personal life. Yeah, at the time, at the cost of ignoring my family, my children, I have achieved this much financial wealth. That is good for nothing. It should be cohesive growth. So comprehensive growth, sorry. This should be comprehensive growth.
Right. That is really important because if you are growing in one aspect or one segment, that is not complete growth.
Yeah.
It should be a holistic one. You should grow in every aspect of life. Relationship, family, money, health.
The circle of the life should be totally round, not inclined towards the direction. That is very important. Only round circle can move. If a tire is flat, your vehicle will not move. All the four tires have to be in proper pressure.
Right. So, last question for the day. Any advice or message you would like to make to our audience, viewers and listeners?
Viewers and listeners is that you should have your clear conscience should be clear. Your goal should be clear. Your character should also be clear. You should not be of dual character. घर में कुछ और बाहर कुछ और backbiting should not be there. All these ingredients should be there.
Right.
First of all, your conscience should be clear. Some noise is there, and you should not cheat yourself.
True.
You should not cheat to others as well, but you should not cheat yourself as well. You feel that this is my weakness, and you boast of it is not my weakness, and you ignore that weakness. So that will also impact your life.
Right, and that is really important. And with this, I'd like to thank you so very much, sir. You have shared so many amazing insights about your journey, about your thoughts, as well as so many learnings also were there, which really can help us to understand things in a smaller and easy way. And the thing which you have shared about the real estate segment, how people can understand things better while buying property or maybe investing in property, so that would be really helpful for them as well. So thank you so very much, Pramod sir. It was really wonderful having you here. I really enjoyed the conversation and looking forward to hear more from you again soon. And I'd like to invite you again and again for discussing about other topics which are really important for the sake of people to understand how they can make things easy. So we would be talking about them. Thank you so very much, sir.
On my part also, it has been a very nice discussion with you. Interactive session was there. I would like to have more session like that. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure
Sure,
to
sir.
meet
And
you.
also, I will share social media links of yours so that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance wherever they need help.
No
And
issue.
with this, I'd also like to thank you everyone for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye bye.